Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
All right, so we're here underneath our 2009 Suburban. I'm Andrew, and I'm here with Andy, and it's making a clicking noise when we're taking off from a start. We're putting load on the rear axle, it sounds like. So we think it's from U-joints, which is pretty common with that type of noise. And with the amount of miles this vehicle has, about 160,000 miles on it, the U-joints are probably worn out, so we're just gonna check them out. I'm going to start with the one up here by the end of the transfer case, and I'm just going to hold it because there is some lash in the transmission or the transfer case that you'll feel, but you want to hold them and try to just move them very gently. This one seems pretty solid. So Andy's going to check out the one at the rear diff.
All right, I'm going to grab the yoke on the rear differential, and I'm going to grab the drive shaft. I'm just going to go back and forth. As you can see, there's a lot of play right there. There should be zero play. So this U-joint in here is bad. And that's what's causing the majority of our noise.
Since we're going to have to remove the drive shaft and take it out to replace that rear U-joint, we're going to also replace the front one. It's just best practice.
To prevent further vibration when we go to put this back in, it's best to index the yoke with the drive shaft. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark right here and mark right here. In theory, it shouldn't matter, but it just works best if you do it, index it, and put it back where it was. We're going to do the same with the yoke over here. Mark right there, and mark right there.
I'm just going to spray some rust penetrant on these bolts. Help us remove them. These are 11mm bolts. Just going to use the closed end of this wrench. Loosen them up. Break them all free first. This one up top. Let's go around and loosen them all. This drive shaft's pretty long and it's awkward to handle. So when this comes loose, you're going to need a second person to help you guide it out of the transfer case and out of the vehicle. Get these loose with my fingers, and we'll take these right off. Before we pull the drive shaft out of the transfer case, we're going to put our drain pan in place in case anything leaks out.
Now we're going to come over here with a pry bar. We're going to go in between the yoke and the drive shaft. We're going to support this and then just pull real hard. Sometimes they're in there pretty difficult. You can work it back and forth.
I'm going to help Andy guide it out of the transfer case. Good.
Pull it
Didn't
out.
have any fluid come out. Excellent. Here we can get a better look at our U-joint. You can kind of see there's some grease that's come out of here. So this is a non-serviceable U-joint. Sometimes they have a grease fitting. You can grease them at intervals, but these are not, and you can see that it's bound up. It should really move a lot freer, but you can hear it squeaking. And it's completely bound up, like it's really hard to turn. So this one's definitely no good. If you take this cap off, you can see there's little tiny, tiny needle bearings in there. That's how these work. And there's a little dust seal and a grease seal. But yeah, this one's totally junk, and we're gonna have to replace it.
So we're checking out our front U-joint. There's a lot of looseness here. There's not a wicked lot of play in it. As you can see, there's a lot of grease coming out of there. That's a good indication that this one is going to be going much like the back one in the near future. So it's a good idea to replace them both while we have the drive shaft out.
We're gonna have to remove these snap rings. There's one on each side of the drive shaft. They're pretty rusty. So I'm just gonna put some rust penetrant here, let it sit for a little bit before I come back and try to get it out of there. And do the same for the other side. We're gonna do the same for the front of the drive shaft, except this has 4 snap rings instead of just 2. We'll let that sit and soak.
Okay, so we soaked this down in rust penetrant. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some locking needle nose pliers because they're a little bit thicker than regular needle nose pliers, so this helps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to squish this clip together and just work it back and forth. As you can see, it released right here, didn't release over here. So what we can do is just work it back and forth a little. You can also lock onto the smaller one. Try to grab me the hammer. Just try to release some of the rust. Grab onto this and then just forcefully pull it out, just like that. I'm going to do that with all the other ones.
So Andy showed us one way to do it. Another way you can do it, if this snap ring is really stuck in there, like these ones are pretty rusty, you can punch this cap down a little bit with a punch and a hammer. That might help release it. And then we'll use these locking pliers again. So it's really stuck. And I broke that one, so we're going to have to work a little harder to get this one out. So tighten these up. Okay, get some more rust penetrant. Spray some more rust penetrant in here. Take a right angle pick. Try to clean some of the rust out of there. Let's see if I can grab it some regular pliers. Just careful not to break this one. Aha, broke that one too.
Well, that happens.
All right, since I broke this, I'm gonna soak up some of this rust penetrant so it doesn't splash me. I'm gonna take another punch and put it up against the snap ring and my hammer.
Going?
may make it worse. Broke off some more. All right, since Andy took out the easy one and this one broke on me, I'm gonna put this socket in that's just a little bit smaller than the inside diameter of where that snap ring is. And we're gonna punch the U-joint down and hopefully that'll loosen it up and then the snap ring will come out. So by hitting it down, I've released a lot of the tension on the snap ring. I can carefully use my pick to pull it out. And the pick's not really meant for prying like this, so you have to be very careful with it. Let's see. I'm going to use the punch to help pry it up. Oh, it's coming out. All right. Just kind of work it around. Maybe grab it with the pliers. So if you break the snap ring, all is not lost. You can still get it out of there. But we still have to punch this one out. So. Just trying to work some of that rust out of there. Get the rust penetrant in there, help these slide apart. We've got a steel drive shaft and steel bearing carriers in the U-joint. So they're all rusted together. Clean all of that junk out of there. With both snap rings out, I was punching on this side, so I flipped it over. Since it's so rusty, I'm gonna punch it back this way and just sort of work it back and forth to try to work the rust penetrant in there and break it free from the rust and get this U-joint out of this drive shaft. So we'll just go back and forth.
So this U-joint is really rusted in there. So we're gonna try another method. We're gonna stick it in the vise so that the U-joint is sitting on the vise like that. The lower part's down there. I'm going to take a socket, one that's big enough so that the cap will fit through. So we can test fit it there. Stick it right there, and then we're going to hit it with a hammer. That's going to push one cap out at a time. As you can see, it's starting to raise up, so that's good. Just keep going. Should be almost out. A couple more. All right, now we're going to take some locking pliers, grab this cap, make sure it's on there real tight. Go back and forth with it. It's still on there, good. So before I take that cap off, I'm going to flip it over. We're going to get this other cap off, and then we can punch them out through the center. We got a little ways to go. You can almost get the joint part of it out. As you can see, these are all the little needle bearings. Oh, and there we go. Pulled that part out. You can move that forward.
Now, Andy, you got that U-joint out. I'm going to punch the caps out. Use a punch and a hammer. Flip it over. Do the other side. Go right through. That one is stuck good. Spray some rust penetrant in here. Spray some rust penetrant on the outside of it. There's a rubber seal in this cap, and it looks like it's stuck in the bore. So now we're going to try to punch it out from this direction. We don't want to damage the drive shaft, so now I'll use the socket. Yep. Oh,
Oh, and then up a little. All right.
all right.
Just punch right through. There it is.
So these are gonna be
All right,
trouble?
so Andrew got those caps out, so that's good. But when getting those caps out, as you can see, the joint itself, when pushing, this piece of the joint actually pushed on the ears over here, and they're marred up a little bit. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to take a file, preferably a little round file like this. If you come over here, right there, I wanna file that little piece down. So I'll take this. And get on this side. So we're gonna file this down so that it's flat. So almost there, maybe a little bit more. We'll do that to the other 3 little burrs. All right, so I took those little nubs off on this side and right here. This side didn't really have too much of damage, so just filed that down just a little bit. So that came out pretty good, so that's all set. We're gonna use a little bit of emery cloth. You can use some light sandpaper. We're just gonna get some of the rust off. You can use a like a Brillo pad or something just to get a little bit of the rust off in here. We're not gonna go nuts because we don't wanna ruin the machine surface of the drive shaft. Do the same on the other side. You can use a wire brush to get some of this out. And actually the wire brush will help get some of the channel dirt out. We can take a small pick. We want to clean this out so that the retainer clips will sit in there well. Okay, so we have our new U-joint here with this grease fitting. there's two ways you can install this. If we install it this way, it is going to be hard to get a grease gun in there. So for this vehicle, we're going to install it this way. That'll be a little bit easier to get a grease gun in there and get it on there. So we'll take, all right, so we're going to take our U-joint. We can pull the cap off, and inside you can see these needle bearings. If they end up that they're not positioned right, you can take a screwdriver or a pick, preferably one that is not magnetized, and then take and fold these in the right location. And if they fall out in a certain way, you can just push them down and they should spread out. And there's some grease in there and stuff, so that's good. So we can put that back on, just like that. All right, so to install the U-joint, take the drive shaft. We're going to take this cap off. I'm going to stick this over here. And then take this cap off. We're going to slide the U-joint in place and then push it over here, and then we'll slide this cap in over here. So I want the U-joint right in between both of them, pretty equally. Okay, just like that. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So I'm going to show you a couple different methods of how to get these in. We can take the vise. If you have a vise that's big enough, you can open up the vise. Set that in just like that. Make sure the drive shaft's pretty even with the vise. You can just tighten up the vise. You're going to want to make sure that the joint itself can move freely in here. Just tighten it up a little bit. Oh, it's not in there right. Take a little hammer, give it a tap right there. All right, I gotta loosen this up. So you want to make sure this is in here evenly. Make sure this can keep turning. Just tighten down the vise, and that's going to push the caps in. Just keep checking to make sure it's turning while you're pushing it down, while you're tightening it. That looks pretty good. That's as far as I can go with the vise. So next, what I'm going to do is line this up on the vise. I want this to be flat, so I'm going to raise up the back over here. So I want this to be on a level surface, so I'm going to level out the drive shaft. I'll just put a couple pieces of wood under here. That way the drive shaft is level. Now I'm going to take a socket that's pretty big that will fit to the outside of the cap, and I'll take a hammer and tap it down. Oops, slightly smaller. Okay, right, so once the cap is past the groove, then we can install the retaining clip. Take our needle nose locking pliers, stick that in there, get that in, so that's good like that. We can flip it over, and we're going to hammer in this side. Now we can see the retainer groove right there. Install the clip. Just like that. Sometimes you got to get the clip in the groove. Make sure it goes in all the way around. And that looks good. Now this is a little bit tight in here. To loosen it up, you can take a hammer, you can just tap on the ears right here. That's going to set it in a little bit better, and it's nice and loose. All right, before we flip this over to do the other side, we don't want these caps to fall off while we're working on it. So what I'm going to do is take some electrical tape. I'm just gonna tape around these U-joints just like this. That'll keep the caps on. Just go around a couple times. Just like that, and that'll keep on. And then once we install it, we'll take the tape off. Flip it around. All right, so there's a couple different ways you could do this. You could take off the U-joint on this side first, then take the yoke U-joint off. I'm going to take the yoke off first. So we'll remove these retainer clips. And also, once you use the locking pliers, use a screwdriver, get in here. Make sure you wear safety glasses when you're doing this. Those clips can go flying. Take that off just like that. Work it all the way around. See, just went flying. That's good. Spray a little rust penetrant in there. We're going to flip it over and do the same to the other side. All right, so the first method we're going to use here, we'll use the socket that is bigger than the U-joint. Slide it over there. I'm going to hold the yoke with this hand and hammer with the other. It's going to be a little tricky because I'm going to have to keep adjusting. All right, we're going to try another method. We're going to try this ball joint press again. line this up. You want to make sure that this is lined up on the bottom, otherwise you're going to be fighting yourself. You want to make sure that the U-joint cap will come out that hole. And we're tightening it down. So we put it in the vise like this, that way it'll hold it a little bit better. And I'm going to just tighten it down. Maybe you should put that. So we're tightening this up, and that's going to push the U-joint cap through. It helps to use a pneumatic gun, but we're showing you how to do it by hand. Let's see. All right, so it looks like it's bottoming out on this ear of the drive shaft. So I'm going to push that back in. We're going to take the drive shaft side of the U-joint out. We'll take this clip out with our locking needle nose pliers. Oh, that one just broke off. Take my screwdriver and a hammer, I'll just tap it right here. Oop, that broke as well. Go in here. All right, we'll try doing the other side. That one came out a little easier. I'll use my screwdriver to help it along. Tighten these up a little bit. Gonna work it out. And that one came out good. So I didn't get the clip out of the back side of this, but we're gonna try to push it through a little bit, and then maybe I'd be able to get a pick in behind. So we'll tighten this up. All right, so now that there's a gap right there, it'll be a little easier. I can take the screwdriver, get in behind the clip. Try to get this clip out. All right, and there's the clip. So now we got that clip out. Now I can push it all the way through. See? Sure. All right, so we're going to try to hammer the other side through. We'll use the socket and the big hammer.
punch in here, try to get this cap out. And you already did most of the hard work. It's kind of caught on this one.
Yeah.
And I think those rubber seals on them don't help them go through either.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can move this one out a little more.
Sure.
It's in the way. Use the pick.
Almost, not quite.
Almost. There it is.
There you go. Now you.
There we go. So when you get it right, cap comes right off. Those are all the old needle bearings. And get that cap out. All old needle bearings. Whoops.
There you go.
All right, that's one half of that. So be careful with this part. This goes in your transmission to not mar this up. That came out a lot further.
Yeah. There we go.
There it is. Should come up and out. Oh, the other one's got to come back out.
Push it down a little
Yeah, push down on it.
bit. Actually, you should be able to get the joint out.
Yeah, the joint will come out.
Put that out. You can bang it in.
Probably go better
Going.
to get it out this way.
Yeah. So there's a couple little burrs on here. So we'll just take the file, clean those burrs up, and put this in the vise so it's a little bit easier for me to work. So just clean these up a little bit.
We have our new U-joint here. I'm going to carefully remove the caps. Make sure all the needle bearings stay where they're supposed to be. I'll put those aside right here. Do both sides. And then we'll slide them in here. I'm going to put the grease fitting towards the transfer case side or the transmission side. And we'll get the cap started into here. Did they slide in real easy for you? Or no? No. All right. I'll push that one in there. Get this one started in here. Okay. You can kind of center it a little bit. And then I'll take the hammer, tap them down. this one started over here. That to bottom out. And get this one to bottom out. Okay. So Andy's gonna help me out. He's gonna hammer this one in so we can get to the snap ring location.
So we'll just put a socket right there and hammer it down. I'm just gonna make sure it gets to the where the ring groove is.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Do the, we good?
Yep.
Okay. Just use my locking needle nose. Line that up. Make sure it's in the groove. Snaps in place.
Flip it over. Do the same for the other side.
Should be lined up. Put this ring in. That looks good.
All right.
So this is kind of tight. So if we take the hammer, just tap on the ears, and that loosens it up.
We're gonna line up our match marks we made. Take the caps off here. This is gonna go this way.
Just like that.
This one started. Can lay this right here, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tricky.
Try to get it started kind of evenly, and then just tap it in. So we go flush, and we'll flip it over, do the same. So I was actually able to do that with the rounded end of the ball peen hammer, and I can see the channel for the lock, for the snap ring. Use our locking needle nose pliers. That's it.
Tap it in.
Yeah, we can go down here on the flat part. Tap this one in. Tap the ears a little bit.
Feels good?
Yep, feels good.
All right, it's ready to go back in.
Yep. Before we reinstall the drive shaft, we're going to clean some of this rust and corrosion out of the pinion yoke. Just going to use a wire brush. Just knock it out of here. This way our drive shaft sits nice and even. We're going to put the drive shaft into the transfer case or your transmission. If your truck is two-wheel drive, it just lines up. Be careful of the seal that's on the outside. Just kind of find the splines. And it'll slide in.
And we're going to do the back side. We'll take the tape off that we used to hold the caps on. And then remember we lined up this mark with the yoke on the differential. Be able to slide it back down. Get that lined up. Gonna move over just a little bit. And you want to look at those ears, make sure the caps are below those ears. Those what hold it into place before you put the caps on. One way to tell which side goes where, this side of the cap is rusted more than the other side, so you know that goes on the outside. So we'll stick that cap on like that. And same with the other one. As you can see, it's rusted all along here. It's not rusted quite as much on the other side. So that rusted ridge will go on the outside. I'm gonna snug these up with an 11mm wrench.
All right, torque these to 18 foot-pounds. Once it clicks, you're all set. Move to the next one. Grease up these U-joints.
Wait,
And our-
start.
yeah. We're just going to grease up these U-joints. But otherwise, the squeak should be gone. You can already see that the only play is the gear lash, which is perfectly normal. There's no more play in the U-joints, so that should solve our noise.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at 1AAuto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.